Imagine waking up one day and realizing that a single decision, just one, has changed your entire life. It either made you a millionaire or left you completely broke. The truth is, success and failure often come down to just one crucial choice, and most people don't even realize they're making it. Every person who has ever built massive wealth or lost everything can trace it back to a single moment where they had to decide whether to take the leap or stay where they were. The difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't luck, isn't intelligence, isn't even necessarily hard work. It's about the ability to recognize an opportunity, understand the risk, and make a move when it matters most. So what is this decision? It's not just about quitting your job or investing all your money into something risky. It's deeper than that. It's about understanding the power of calculated risk and knowing when to bet on yourself. This is the moment where your comfort zone and your dreams collide. Every millionaire, every successful entrepreneur, every game changer in history has faced this moment. Some took the chance, and their entire lives transformed. Others hesitated, played it safe, and spent the rest of their lives wondering what could have been. Think about this. Every time you see a successful person, you're looking at someone who at some point risked failure. Jeff Bezos had a well-paying job on Wall Street, the kind of job most people would consider a dream. He had stability, security, a clear career path. But then he read a report that said the internet was growing at 2,300% per year. He saw something that most people didn't. And at that moment, he had to decide: stay in his safe, high-paying job or leave everything behind and start an online bookstore in his garage. He chose the second option, and that single decision led to the creation of Amazon, a company worth over $1 trillion today. But here's the thing. At the time, there was no guarantee it would work. It could have failed. People told him he was crazy. He could have lost everything. But he understood something most people don't. The biggest risk is never taking one. Now, imagine someone else in the same situation. Maybe they also had an idea, maybe they also saw an opportunity, but instead of acting on it, they let doubt creep in. They waited. They told themselves, maybe later when the timing is better, and later never came. This is the brutal reality. Most people wait for the perfect moment, and in doing so, they miss their shot. The biggest difference between millionaires and the average person is that millionaires don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. Now, let's flip the coin. Not all risks lead to success. For every Jeff Bezos, there are thousands of people who took a risk and lost everything. Why? Because they didn't take a calculated risk, they took a reckless one. There's a huge difference between betting on yourself and blindly gambling with your future. Some people hear stories of overnight success and think they can throw all their money into a new business, into stocks, into crypto, and become rich instantly. But that's not how it works. Every successful person who took a risk also had a strategy. They didn't just jump. They prepared, they learned, they adjusted when things went wrong. Look at Elon Musk. After selling PayPal, he had hundreds of millions of dollars. He could have lived comfortably for the rest of his life. But instead, he reinvested nearly all of it into Tesla and SpaceX. At one point, he was so broke he had to borrow money for rent. If those companies had failed, he would have lost everything. But what most people don't realize is that he didn't just throw his money blindly, he believed in what he was building. He knew the market, he understood the demand, he had a plan. And now, he's one of the richest men on the planet. On the other hand, look at lottery winners. Millions of dollars overnight, and yet over 70% of them go broke within a few years. Why? Because they never learned how to handle money. They thought the money itself was the solution, but in reality, without financial intelligence, it became their downfall. They spent recklessly, made bad investments, trusted the wrong people. They had wealth but no understanding of how to keep it. The same happens with people who chase get-rich-quick schemes. They invest in something because they heard a rumor, not because they did research. They risk everything on a hot tip without actually knowing what they're doing. And they lose everything. So how do you know if you're making the right decision? How do you make sure the risk you take puts you on the millionaire path instead of the broke one? First, you have to educate yourself. Millionaires don't just take risks, they take calculated risks. Before you start a business, learn the market. Before you invest, study the trends. Knowledge is the difference between smart decisions and reckless ones. Second, you have to commit to the long game. Most people fail because they want success overnight. They expect results immediately, and when things get tough, they quit. But success isn't instant. Amazon took years before it became profitable. Tesla almost collapsed multiple times. If you want real wealth, you have to be willing to play the long game. Third, surround yourself with winners. Your environment dictates your future. If you spend time with people who think small, who are afraid to take risks, who always complain about money but never do anything about it, guess what? You're going to stay exactly where you are. But if you surround yourself with ambitious, driven, successful people, you'll start thinking differently. You'll start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. Fourth, learn to manage failure. Every successful person has failed. The difference is that they didn't let failure stop them. When most people fail, they give up. They see it as a sign that they should quit. But millionaires see failure as a lesson. They analyze what went wrong, they adjust, and they try again. Failure is never the end unless you allow it to be. Finally, you have to control your emotions. Fear, greed, impatience, these are what ruin people financially. When the stock market drops, most people panic and sell. When a new trend appears, most people rush in without thinking. Smart decisions come from logic, not emotions. The moment you let emotions control your money, you've already lost. At the end of the day, the decision that makes or breaks you is simple. Will you take the risk to change your life, or will you let fear keep you stuck? Because here's the truth. The biggest risk isn't taking the leap. The biggest risk is doing nothing at all. The biggest risk is staying in a job you hate, living paycheck to paycheck, always wondering, what if, while time passes you by. The biggest risk is looking back in 10 years and realizing that nothing changed because you were too afraid to try. So ask yourself this. Are you going to be the person who takes the leap and builds the life you want? Or are you going to be the person who plays it safe and stays stuck? The choice is yours. But just know this, doing nothing is still a choice. And it's the choice that guarantees you'll never win.